In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You're advised that any views expressed by the hosts or their guests are not necessarily the views of Togi Entertainment or its partners.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd and Doris Rivas-Brecky, and we've got a great show today. We're going to be welcoming Dr. Jody Bremer. She's going to talk about helping us navigate change as we prepare not only for deployment, but for moving and downsizing, all the things that are affecting our current military today. Then we're going to go over to Linda Jefferson, and she is our Army Family PCS Relocation Resource. Sorry, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, we don't have that yet. How's that for a mouthful? Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
And then we're going to round out the show with Debbie Gregory of Military Connection, which if you guys haven't checked out Military Connection, they get 1 million visitors every month. They have everything under the sun. Whenever I want to know anything, like I have to cheat at the last minute to prepare for a show, man, Military Connection is where I go. They have 100,000 followers on Twitter. They really rock. I hope they like the tweets that we put out today. Oh my God, Robin, that's all I have to say. Over to you.
Oh, it is a rockin' show. And, you know, we are just, I'm thrilled to have so many great things to share with everybody. And we just keep on keeping on, you know, that's
keep
what
on
we
trucking.
do.
Isn't that what they said in your generation?
Yeah.
Sorry, was that rude?
Not at all.
Rude. I just had the vision of the T-shirt.
I have to say, I might even be a little older than that generation.
Oh, no, not possible. Not possible.
Almost, yeah. So, good stuff. Good weekend, San?
You know, a good weekend. I spent most of it, honest to God, on the couch. I was so tired. I had a lot of problems last week with my company. I had a big spam issue. I had a phishing issue. It just, if it could have gone wrong last week, it would have. And, you know, it was great because I feel like Sandra, like Munchausen's by proxy syndrome, because when my kids are sick and they're just sick enough that they want to lay with me and watch TV, it's heaven. You know?
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
They're jumping and running and moving. You know, they're 5 and 8-year-old boys. They're in constant motion. And I really just laid on the couch. I disconnected. I shut off my phone. I shut off my computer. I completely disconnected electronically, and I ate Girl Scout cookies.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, so did I, as a matter of fact, because we had this huge event over the weekend. We had a wonderful weekend. We had
you got to tell people what you did, because that was just the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It was awesome. We had about 175 girls and maybe another 75 to 100 onlookers, and we were on a great big field, and we all stood in the shape of 100 and had an aerial photo taken of us because we were celebrating. Today is the 100th birthday of Girl Scouts of the United States of America, and we are just so proud.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Girl Scout.
Yes, it's
Happy
so awesome. It was, and it is. If anyone is in New York City today, check out the Empire State Building. They are lit in green in honor of the Girl Scouts. There's so many things going on in Georgia because, of course, that's where it all began, in Savannah, Georgia, 100 years ago, with our wonderful founder, who was such a progressive woman. If you ever want to read a a autobiography about somebody very powerful and very forward-minded, read about Juliette Gordon-Low. She was just a tremendous person who had an amazing vision. She had many challenges in her life. She found ways to get beyond what was in her way. And consider this one woman who went to England, visited some friends over there, came back, got 18 girls together and said, I have something for the girls of Savannah and all of the girls of America, and we're going to start tonight. And that was it. And she did it. So talk about empowerment. This was an amazing woman.
That is, and I don't think, what's so funny, Robin, is, I was only a brownie. I never made it to Girl Scouts. I got booted out at the end of brownies for blowing up a salamander. But I never knew the history behind the Girl Scouts and how, I look at Toys for Tots, started with Bill Hendricks' wife. I look at Girl Scouts. We kind of rock as women, developing and creating these things.
Juliette Low, in her day, it was never thought of for a girl to go out and play basketball. And she would hike up her long skirt up between her legs, tuck it into her belt, and they had to play behind a fence because, God forbid, society would have seen them playing basketball. But she'd get the girls out there and play basketball and play sports and be able to be out doing things that we can't imagine a girl not doing nowadays. Her organization and her vision, even then, she knew she wanted to develop girls to be self-sufficient, to be able to be strong in themselves, and she wanted to have them make a difference in their world. And now we have 3.2 million girl members. We have probably close to 50 million women today who have been Girl Scouts at some point in time in their lives. It's an amazing movement. And for a little shameless plug, tune in tomorrow to Motherhood Talk Radio. And I will have a wonderful guest who's going to talk a little bit more about the Girl Scout organization and where the next 100 years will take us. Because not only are we celebrating our history, we are launching our future. And we're really proud.
Well, and many of our service women, 20% of our military currently are female, and a lot of them have come out of the Girl Scouts. I know.
Absolutely.
It's just, amazing. You think, 100 years ago, we had to hide playing basketball behind a fence, so no one would see us. And now we've got 20% of our military being female soldiers, servicemen, airmen, or airwomen, as it will be. And speaking of women serving in the military, we're going to go
say hi to Doris.
Hi to Doris, our Army gal, coming on with her news you can use. What do you have for us this week, Doris?
Well, Sandra and Robin, lately we've been working overtime to try to find job and career information for our military moms, especially for those transitioning back to the civilian world. Well, I'm happy to say there is an abundance of information out there in cyberspace. So I encourage our military people to just let your fingers do the walking on your computers, and you'll find some great information. The article that caught my eye this week was one on military.com about federal jobs and how important the role of one's resume plays in the search for that Fed job. A great point is that over 25% of our new federal jobs are being filled by veterans, and that is a good thing indeed. A leader in the helping veterans write great resumes is a woman named Catherine Troutman, who is the president of a company called The Resume Plays. And if you go to the website vetfedjobs.org, you will see an article called 5 Steps to Drafting Your Basic Federal Resume, based on a career guide by Catherine Troutman. And this website,
and Doris, that's a hard thing to do. When you come out of the military, you came out of the military, was getting a resume together, that had to be one of the furthest things from your mind when you left the Army.
Well, especially for me, because I went straight back to college.
No.
So I didn't even have to think about that. But I have done resumes before, and you're right. They're very tough, and they have to be, right on. And this is what this woman, Catherine Troutman, tries to let you know in this article, is that these jobs that the federal government offers, they have to be certain what they call on-target resumes. And there's 3 ways that she says that you have to use in order to get what they call best qualified on the resume. And one of them is keywords. And you can find keywords for your resume from USA Jobs announcement duties, specialized experience, and the KSA sections, which I had to look up. I didn't know what you probably know, Sandra, but it stands for knowledge, skills, and abilities. And the second point is be sure to demonstrate that you have 1 year specialized experience in your resume, and you better make sure you can prove it on paper. And the third point is accomplishments. You want to be able to put down your list of accomplishments. And you can find all of this information at vetfedjobs.org. Try to say that 3 times.
That's a tough one, man. I'm just still stumped about, don't, put stuff down on your resume that you can't do, because right out of college I put down I spoke French, because you would think, I took 4 years in high school, 2 years in college. That was qualify me. Disney put me in the Euro Disney department where they wanted me to do computer training in French. And I was like, but see, I can get you to the train station. I can get you to get a ticket. I don't know how to train in French.
Sandra. And one more big announcement. Finally, some exciting news from our Top Gun authors, Ken Farmer and Buck Steinke of the infamous Black Eagle book series. Amazon now offers the ebook version of the fast-paced action thriller Black Eagle, Eye of the Storm. It's available at Amazon's Kindle store. The boys have 15 five-star reviews, and Ken Farmer says it's going to be a wild ride, so strap in tight. I had to do it that way. I'm currently halfway through the hardback version, and it's definitely a wild ride. So go to Amazon Kindle and get that version ASAP. Over and out. Back to you guys.
Doris, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had them on about a month ago, so definitely check at militarymomtalkradio.com and check out the podcast so that you can hear that show that we had with them. They were great. Coming up after the break, we have Jody Bremer. She's a licensed marriage, family, and family therapist. She is a good friend. She's been with us before, so it'll be really great to catch up. We'll be talking about deployment, moving, and downsizing. Back in a moment.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Fertility. It's an extremely personal subject. Tune in Monday nights at 9, 8 Central for the Fertility Forum with infertility psychotherapist and expert Phyllis Martin on TogiNet.com. This is the show about infertility, gaining support, and information. Phyllis will assist you in navigating the disappointments and decisions that often accompany the difficult journey from diagnosis to conception, pregnancy to parenthood. She is passionate about her work and is an expert in the donor egg field, bringing both her personal and professional experience to all she does. Ms. Martin has extensive experience in helping patients cope with infertility, pregnancy loss, adoption, surrogacy, miscarriage, pregnancy termination, and creative family building. She knows what you're going through, and she's here to help. It's the Fertility Forum with your host, Phyllis Martin, Monday nights at 9, 8 Central on TogiNet.com. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Be here for Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer, Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Tricia will dig deep into topics that matter most to women, inspiring women to make a change in their own lives and to make a difference in the world, and maybe even deep within their own hearts. Tricia is a wife, mom, speaker, family expert, and author of 24 books. For more information on Tricia and Living Inspired, go to her website, TriciaGoyer.com. That's TriciaGoyer.com. Tricia's vision is to be the voice of hope and possibility for women of all ages. Her intention is to serve ordinary women by encouraging extraordinary things with God's help. Tricia expresses real life, real hope for real women. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck. I'm here with Doris Rivas Brecky, Miss Over and Out, and Robin Boyd, Girl Scouts of America. Shameless plug, shameless plug.
Yay!
You went and you stood in that group of 100 girls, or how many?
I was there. It was about 175 in the circle itself. So I was in the middle circle at about 7 o'clock.
Wow. And at 5 foot, wait, how tall are you? 5'1"? 4 foot 1?
4
what
foot
are you?
8. I'm 4'8". It's true. Most of the third graders were taller than me, so I kind of had to peek around their shoulders.
That's really fun. That is really fun.
More fun with our girls. And anyway, we'll talk more tomorrow. But anyway, Jody, I wonder if she was a Girl Scout. Let's ask her.
Jody?
I was a brownie. Does that count?
All right, we're part of the brownie failure club, and we got the overachievers over on the other side, where the Girl Scouts with their big G and their green uniforms.
I never made it that far. Being the last of 4 children, my mother gave up by that time.
You were down in the lineup, huh?
Yes. Girl Scout meeting? Sorry.
Sorry. Well, Jody, I'm so glad that you're with us today. Jody, you've been on our show before. You're really, just so wonderful in helping our families. You're down out of Camp Pendleton. You've worked with, the Marine Corps. You've been a Marine Corps wife. You've got 2 kids. You're just, you just know everything. So you got to help us. Oh, the pressure. I'm sorry.
Well, as a shameless plug to my husband, I am now a retired Navy wife. So,
oh my God, you got 2 of them under your belt.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. The topic, even going from brownies to Girl Scouts, how do you like this segue, is a change. Everything in life is a change. As you were saying that you wanted to talk about deployments and the downsizing and how that all affects the women and the families and everybody about that. The only constant is change. There's a lot of flippant remarks about that, but that's the truth. Nothing stays the same. The only thing that stays the same is the fact that at some point we're going to have to deal with change. And with the military, you have to go into it with the idea that change, if it's not your best friend, at least it's your next door neighbor. It's going to. You ladies have been in the military, gone through these moves, gone through promotions, changes, having your friends, neighbors down the street move. What's it like for you?
It's hard, Robin. Don't you agree? I mean, it's the one thing, Jody, that I think about with this is we honor the change in the family. Like mom or dad deploys, they come home, but there's always like that little forgotten group of Boy Scout or boyfriends and girlfriends and moms and aunts and uncles. That change affects everybody. When somebody goes away on deployment and then they come back, there's this huge adjustment, and it's an adjustment not only for the service person that went and came back, but for everybody that they come in contact with, everybody who cares about them, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing stays the same from one thing to another. And just when you get comfortable, when you have the new routine down, when you've gotten through all the emotional ups and downs of having somebody leave, getting your act together, then they come back, or there's another big thing that
that monopolizes the entire dynamics. The military member comes back into the family, and therefore the routine is shattered. The aunts, the uncles, the friends, the neighbors, the people that you got into this routine with. For instance, what happens for the women who are used to meeting for coffee at 10 o'clock or going on a walk in the evening with their kids, and it became a routine for them, and it's something they look forward to and count on. And now the husband's back home, and that has to change. And you're torn because you're so glad your husband's home, but at the same time you miss what you were used to doing and the closeness and the bonds that you felt with everybody else that you associated with. And then you turn that around to where it's not the reintegration of family, but a deployment where you've just gotten used to having your husband or significant other back home, and then they're leaving again and you have to go into this new state. Or, gosh, the whole downsizing that you were talking about, Sandra, with the cutting of the military numbers and the funds, and people who expected to be career Marines or career Navy are suddenly finding that they have to go into the civilian world. And the whole talk about the resume, the first section, was so excellent because more and more of our military members are finding that what they counted on isn't what's going to be their reality.
Well, and, when you talk about the reality of what is, there's a reality that happens when you're away. Like, one of my friends is expecting to have her boyfriend come back, and they met shortly before deployment, and then he's been gone for a long time, and now they're coming back to this, kind of new relationship on top of all the other changes that goes on. What do you do in that situation? Do you just rock and roll? We talk a lot about moms, but very rarely does the girlfriend get any play because she's not like a legal entity attached. But some of these girlfriends are with these guys 5, 6, 7 years. They might as well be a spouse, but they're not eligible for any of these programs. Nobody really talks about the role of the girlfriend in the deployment change.
You're bringing up a whole bag of issues that is so true. No, it's very true. It's very real. And that's why a lot of the military members may choose to formalize their relationship before they go away, so there will be some sense of contact or responsibility of what happens if kind of thing, who's going to be notified, who do I want to come and see me in case of something bad happening, who's allowed to be on that fly list, who's going to be involved in any decisions that, if, God forbid, something happened, will that girlfriend, will that boyfriend, will that significant other be involved in all the changes that come and go with military? It's something that many people do not plan on. And when I talk to a lot of the wives at Camp Pendleton, there's this whole big thing that, yes, you marry a military person and then you experience real life. And people say, well, you knew what you were getting into. And that is so frustrating because these girls, these women, they don't know what they're getting into. They know they're marrying this person that they love, or their boyfriend is a Marine or is in the military. And that's all they know until they experience the difficulty. It takes a very special component to be attached or love somebody in the military. You have to be able to have that let go factor. You have to be able to roll with the flow, or rock and roll, as you said, because change is going to happen. It's not going to be whatever it is now. And that's good and bad. If times are bad, you know that at some point it's going to change and hopefully get better. And human beings are designed to want to have some sort of say in our environment. And in the military, come on, let's face it, us dependents, we don't have a lot of say in what the military needs are. So we do have to go with the flow and adapt. And I think one of the important things, and I have this on 2 different walls in my office, is the serenity prayer. I have it on both sides, so if anybody turns in either direction, they're going to see the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And if you can say that 20, 30, 40 times a day, as often as you need to, you realize that you can plan what you can and allow allow yourself to relinquish control over the things that you can't. And that's okay. It's okay not to know. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. It might make you want to tear your hair out some days, but the truth is that we can't control everything. We can't even control change. But the change that we can control, knowing that we're going to be moving, knowing that our husbands or whatever are going to be deployed, knowing that they're coming back, we can plan what we can. And that means getting as much information on things like military.net or going to Military One Source, accessing as much communication with other people, finding out what you can, because knowledge is power. And when you have that sense of power, you don't feel as out of control as you do with a lot of changes that come and just knock the wind out of you.
Well, and Jody, you said something really good early on that I want to repeat for our listeners. When you talked about our men and women that marry a military person, and people say, well, you know what you're getting, or you knew what you're getting into, or it's military. When you talk about like that power of knowing, you can't know what you don't know. We all get married. We don't know our head from a hole in the ground. We do the best we can. So I just want to put out there, the next person that says to any person that married a military person, well, you knew what you got into, I'm just going to bring them on and make fun of them on the show and poke at all their failures.
Oh, absolutely.
We can't know what we don't know. And part of that knowledge is knowing that we can't know everything. And exactly. I just want to say one other thing and then I'll shut up. But just because you knew you married a military member doesn't negate the right that you have to feel frustrated, scared, upset. Just because you knew it was military doesn't mean some of the things don't still suck.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that is so worthy of repeating.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel. And it's human to feel, and all of those feelings are valid. Feelings are neither right nor wrong. Boy, I sound like a therapist. Feelings are neither right nor wrong. They just are. And we're human. We're going to have feelings. And it's okay not to be happy with something. It is going to be what it is going to be, but we have to respect and allow for our partners and ourselves to have these feelings and be able to express them.
Jody, you always have so much for us to take in and think about and give us that empowerment like we were talking earlier. We all need that empowerment, and you sure give it to us. Jody Bremer, we want to make sure everybody visits you at www.jodybremer, and that's JODYBREMER.com. Thanks, Jody.
Sandra, Robin, thank you for having me.
Coming up, we've got Linda Jefferson from GoArmyHomes. Talk about changes. She knows about changes. PCS relocations are not easy. She's going to help you through it. Be back in a moment.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
In today's business world, a helping hand or idea that doesn't come with an invoice is a treasured find. And if that happens to you, then you need to pay it forward to keep other entrepreneurs from making mistakes or getting a raw deal. It's called Paying It Forward with Josephine Girassi, Wednesday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Josephine is going to have the guests describe their accomplishments, the lessons they've learned, both good and bad, and then sharing those pieces of knowledge as we create a movement of paying it forward. For more information about Josephine, her business, and background, you can go to mymomknowsbest.com. Josephine Girassi has always been a problem solver. She saw this need and has turned it into a movement. It's Paying It Forward with tips, tools, and advice and hard lessons learned. These pieces of knowledge can make a huge difference for you, your business, and others. So join us for Paying It Forward with Josephine Girassi, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Y'all wave your hands, look who's on. It's Dakota Man Keith and he's number one. Now you might think one's youth was sad, right? Cause he had a death, kill mommy and dad, right? But that ain't the case, it wasn't his fate, no. The ones never struggled to communicate. Y'all wave your hands, look who's on. It's Dakota Man Keith and he's number one.
It's That Keith Wan Show on TogiNet.com, Wednesday nights at 8, 7 Central. Every week, That Keith Wan Show will have guests that share their experiences, expertise, opinions, and personal lives with us to hopefully help us better understand others. The topics and guests will come from the American Sign Language community. For more on Keith Wan and the show, go to his website, KeithWan.com. Listen with an open mind and willingness to learn and help with the cultural bridge.
Number one, Keith's number one. Everybody clap cause the Coda Man's on. Number one, Keith's number one. Everybody clap cause the Coda Man's on.
Don't miss That Keith Wan Show. Wednesday nights at 8, 7 Central on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd and Doris Rivas-Brecky, and we've got some great guests today. For those of you that missed the earlier segment, we had Dr. Jody Bremer on, and she brought up just some great thoughts about change, whether they're pre-deployment, post-deployment, whether they have to do with a PCS move or, changes. Everything changes. Even when you get your orders, sometimes they change. I think one of the things that she said that resonated most strongly with me was that it doesn't negate the feelings of change, don't negate the feelings of frustration or feeling sad and scared. You have a right to those feelings. One of the things you can do to help with those feelings is to seek knowledge. The more we know about what we're facing, the better equipped we are to handle it. And I'm going to go to our guest right away. She's our Army Family PCS relocation resource because she has something to share with us about her daughter after listening to open segment. Linda Jefferson, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Sandra?
Good. So what did you learn from today's segment with Dr. Jody Bremer?
Boy, shame on me. I apparently don't give my daughter-in-law enough slack because I hear her complain about, the deployments, the PCS moves, and, I go to that. Well, you married him. He's in the Army. You should know better. But you're absolutely right. No one can be prepared for the changes that get made. I deal with things differently than she does, and that's very obvious, and I should give her some slack. I mean, here she is, a mother of one with one more on the way. Yay, I've got a new grandbaby on the way.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
And, you're absolutely right. She's young, and no one can actually prepare you for what you're about to have to deal with when they're gone or when you make a move to a new location. Heck, they went to Germany. What a culture shock to leave good old Oklahoma and go to Germany. So,
my nephew and his family have been out in Germany a couple of times. Actually, their kids have lived in Germany probably as much as they've lived in the States. So, and I think isn't it true? And don't you think so, Sandra and Doris, that it's always different for every branch, every service person, depending on your rank, depending on your station, depending on your particular job that you're doing. So, you have to understand everybody's differences, and I think that's what networking's all about.
Well, and Robin, you've talked me off the wall a few times with my military boyfriend going, okay, Sandra, now he's busy, he's got an important job, he's got these things. And I'm like, and I'm lonely, and that happens to everybody. And, I'm so grateful to have, of course, you, Robin and Doris. Of course, you guys know I love you guys. But to have Linda Jefferson on the show, because I'm going to embarrass her a little bit. And I want her to tell you guys about the wonderful things she did for one of our service members who came to Fort Sill. Now, and you don't get paid for this, you're a real estate agent, you help our families. There was a young family that had a big mess up that ended up in Fort Sill. I want you to talk about what you did. I'm going to embarrass you, make you tell them how great you are.
It's just part of the job. But we received an email from a young couple looking for a rental in the Fort Sill area, so we contacted them. Upon talking to the wife, very young, brand new, out of boot camp, out of AIT, first duty station, and they had gotten to Fort Benning, got their housing all situated, paid for everything. He reports in, and lo and behold, the Army messed up. He wasn't supposed to be at Fort Benning. He was supposed to be at Fort Sill. Oh. They out-processed him and said, you have 6 days to report to Fort Sill. Brand new 5-month-old baby, no money, nothing.
And how old are these guys in their 20s?
He was 21, just turned 21. And so I said, okay, here's the deal. Let me find out. I called a friend of mine, the master sergeant here, and I said, hey, what do I do? And he said, just get them here to Fort Sill. We'll work on getting them an AER loan, and then we'll work on getting them some displaced soldier funds. Just get them to Fort Sill. I said, okay. This was a Friday night at 6:30 p.m. I called him back, and I said, don't worry about it. You just get here. I called one of my friends in the meantime that is the general manager at the Comfort Suites. I'm going to give a shout-out to Candy. And I said, hey, I've got this couple. They have no money. She said, just get them here. I'll put them up as long as it takes for them to get a place. I said, okay, great. For free. This lady is fantastic. And so I called them and said, just get here. You have a place to stay. Don't worry about anything else. She said, you don't understand how happy you've made me. And I said, no problem. Now, keep in mind, I won't make anything off of this, but how sad. Your very first experience in the military, and this is what you get. Anyway, we get them here. Big to do. They wanted, one of the people at ACS said, oh, nobody does this kind of thing. They don't put you up for free. They're going to this and that. And so I called the master sergeant. He got on there. Luckily, he's the master sergeant for the CG here. And the head started rolling. And the CG said, it's a darn shame when an outside company can take better care of our soldier than we can.
Yeah.
The long and short of it was they wound up, he got a phone call that night, and the master sergeant said, okay, here's what I want you to do. Take your wife and baby back to the hotel. Get them something to eat. Go get a haircut. This was at 5:30 p.m. that night. Get a haircut and get back here to McNair Hall, which is the CG's headquarters. They kept everyone there, in-processed him until 8:30 that evening, had finance on board. He had a check deposited into his account the next day. He had lunch with the CG and the master sergeant. They put him into housing, took care of him with kid gloves, and he came back and he said, wow, I cannot believe that we were taken such good care of. And I said, you know what? That's all. That made my day. In 20 years, that guy is going to say, you remember our first deployment, our first duty station? You remember those people? And that's all that matters to me, is that these guys are taken care of. And you know what? I won't make a dime directly off of him right now, but the fact that he's going to tell his friends and everyone that he knows that I took care of him, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'll be taken care of just from being able to take care of him.
Well, thank goodness there was a human person willing to do something, use some logic. And I think that so often when you get into a system and you get everything is just generated and it's not really thought through, it's just generated. Thank goodness you have the ability to look from the outside in a way, and be able to say, all right, well, we need to help this person or help that person. And I'm sure that that's only one time of many that you've extended that kind of kindness.
You know what? I think of it every time I hear these guys and I talk to them. I want someone on the other end to take care of my family the exact same way. That's all these guys deserve, is a little respect from us. Everyone talks about how much they support our troops and want to give back. All you have to do is be kind, and that pays off. So that's how my company was started, and that's what we we strive to do with each and every soldier.
Well, now, Linda, you formed Go Army Homes.
Yes.
Another female idea. Mm-hmm. Just going to throw that in there. Sorry, Rob, didn't mean to cut you off. But I want Linda.
Sandra, did we lose you? She was going to say something.
I know, I lost. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. What I was going to say was what a wonderful model, a business model you are, Linda, in that you, a lot of people are I don't want to say jumping on a bandwagon, but a lot of people are saying, all right, we've got to support the troops. We're going to support the troops. And doing this on a personal level and being great, but not a lot of companies are necessarily showing a philanthropic entity. And what a wonderful business model this is for you, because not only are you a successful business person, but your business is philanthropic as well. And I think that's so important.
Well, that's what we're about at Go Army Homes. And I preach it to every person that's on my team in every location. You must take care of these people the exact same way I do, or this company does not succeed.
That's
and so it's a whole different way of thinking for realtors. But, when they get on board and you hear them catch fire with the idea that helping someone is a good thing, it totally changes their business and the way they do business.
Now, do you oversee just your particular fort, or are you overseeing the whole Go Army Home network?
I am actually the founder, and I have 2 business partners. And we have a monthly mastermind meeting. Everyone has to operate the same, so it is. Ultimately, I tell everyone it's me. It all comes back down to, if you don't do the right thing, it reflects badly on me. So yeah, I oversee everything at every location.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how many years has Go Army Homes been Go Army Homes?
I formed it in 2007, and Sandra, was it last year that we started selling the other locations?
Yeah, that we went to Fort. Yeah. And there's lots of bases. We've got Fort Bliss, Fort Belvoir, Fort Bragg, Fort Campbell, Fort Carson, Fort Eustis, Fort Hood, Fort Jackson, Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Sam Houston, Fort Shafter, Fort Sill, Redstone Arsenal, Schofield Barracks, and Shaw Air Force Base.
Wow.
And more to come.
More to come.
And to find out which ones are soon to be also in the Go Army Homes network, that's the website, GoArmyHomes.com. Linda Jefferson, it's always wonderful to catch up with you, because you just are an amazing person, and not only an amazing individual, but a wonderful model for us to look up to. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we've got Debbie Gregory, another good friend. This is Old Home Day, I'll tell you, because 3 of our favorite people have been here. Debbie Gregory from MilitaryConnection.com. Be back in a moment.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Why do I feel so lousy? Why aren't my medications working? Why can't my doctor figure me out? These are just a few of the questions Dr. Kevin Connors will be exploring in Dr. Kevin Connors Live on TogiNet.com. The author of the book, Help My Body Is Killing Me, solving the connections of autoimmune disease to thyroid problems, fibromyalgia, depression, ADD, ADHD, and more. He'll dig into these and many other conditions to dissect the mechanisms of your problems, giving God the glory and looking for answers to make you look and feel better, to make you feel whole again. For more on him, his book, and the show, check out UpperRoomWellness.com. Never be satisfied with a diagnosis. There is always a reason behind it. And if you can alter the mechanisms that led you down your current path, we can change your future. It's Dr. Kevin Connors, live, here on TogiNet.com.
Live
Friday Nightcap Radio, 10 p.m. to midnight with Christy and Laura on TogiNet.com. Broadcasting from their scrappy kitchen in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. They've got nothing better to do than riff with their favorite Brooklyn-based independent vendors, artists, bands, bartenders, foodies, weirdos, and news stories. Featuring the live studio audience. Betty Rehab and the Gay Boys. Sex and dating commentary with the Impersonals. The unknown political masked man. And people who kind of know stuff. Stream on after your long week. Brooklyn's variety show of madcap intellectualism. Friday Nightcap Radio with Laura and Christy, 10 to midnight Eastern on TogiNet.com. Radio like you've never seen.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Boyd here with Sandra Beck and Doris Rivas-Brecky. We've had a powerful show today. It's Women Power. It's Girl Scout Birthday Day, and we have all kinds of women who are strong and powerful. We had Dr. Jody Bremer here in our first segment, or second segment, actually. We had Linda Jefferson from GoArmyHomes in our third segment, and now we are welcoming Debbie Gregory, our woman extraordinaire as far as info in the military lifestyle. Debbie, are you with us?
Hi there.
Hi, Debbie. It's Robin. How you doing?
Hi, Robin. I'm wonderful. What about you guys?
Wonderful. I miss you. It's been so long since we've connected.
I know it has been too long.
I know. So we're so glad that you're here. Got to ask you. This has been the question all day today. Have you ever been a Girl Scout?
I was a brownie.
I
can't remember if I made it to Girl Scouts. I think so. For a short time.
Well, most everybody does start out with the brownie level. We're all Girl Scouts, and that's wonderful that you were a part of it. We were talking about the Girl Scouts birthday earlier in the show, so I'm just
it's a great
just
organization
keeping that
for girls.
Continuity in there. Debbie, with Military Connection, you have got to have the most incredible desk. I can only imagine what your desk must look like. How do you possibly get everything there is on militaryconnection.com into that website? That's just a phenomenal website.
Well, I have to give kudos to my staff. We are a team effort. And then all of the wonderful people that are doing incredible things for military and veterans. They send us the things, we check them out, and then we add them to Military Connection. We do a lot with the VA. We do a lot with the Defense Department. All the resources that are out there, we try to categorize and put out there. And if they're really great and people don't know about them, we want to put them in our newsletter, which goes out to over 800,000 emails.
Wow. That's amazing.
And by the way, today we hit 100,000 followers on Twitter.
Congratulations.
I know. We have celebrity status now, right?
We are rock star status.
I know. But it's kind of fun.
You've got some new initiative going on over there called Hire America's Heroes. What's
Hiring
that all
America's
about?
Heroes. And this initiative I'm really excited about. It's kind of up close and personal for me. My dad was a 100% disabled veteran, and he loved to work. He actually had many operations, so he wasn't able to work all the time. But he was, he died of his service-connected disability. But that was a high spot in his life when he could work and be productive and so forth. And now with the Vow to Hire Heroes Act that the President signed into law on November 21st, companies and employers that hire veterans are able to receive tax credits of $2,400 to $9,600, depending on how long the veterans have been out of work and how disabled they are. So the Hiring America's Heroes Initiative is an initiative to hire veterans, disabled veterans, wounded warriors, and military spouses, who I also consider to be heroes. We are working with different companies, and I'm very excited because one of our clients, CallSource, has just given me a commitment for 100 jobs.
Wow.
And what's amazing about these jobs is that they can work remotely. Those are some of the areas that we're focusing: call center, support, technical support, where veterans, spouses, and so forth, it doesn't matter where they are. If they're disabled and they're not able to go someplace else, or maybe they don't feel like going someplace else, if they're dealing with issues like PTSD, they can still work because that helps them get, on the road to recovery, and it's a positive thing. And so CallSource is offering 100 jobs, and what they're mainly looking for are call monitor specialists, and they will train where they do analytics evaluating calls for different industries, such as healthcare and automotive and multi-housing and so on. And they are going to train people, so all they really need is a high-speed Internet connection and a computer, and they can work whatever hours they care to work, at least 20 a week. And they can, it doesn't require very much in the way of, education and so forth. So anybody can do it. And these jobs probably will average, these particular jobs, $12 an hour.
Wow. That's great.
And isn't this a new arm to this initiative in that spouses now are able to take, to avail themselves of their the GI Bills and the benefits? Right. Well, spouses can, under certain circumstances, the soldier or airman or Marine or service member can transfer those benefits to his spouse or children. But there is a program specifically for military spouses called the MyCAA program. And that program is for $4,000 of training. And the key in that program is that the jobs be portable. Oh, okay. Part of just by your prior segment, part of the military life is moving. And a lot of employers think that, well, somebody's moved a lot, that they are flaky, which is certainly not the case. But this would be jobs where a military spouse could take a career and make it portable. And isn't that wonderful? I mean, obviously, I work virtually, and it's a wonderful thing in that you could be sitting at one desk, and if you suddenly had to leave for 3 weeks to go someplace, it doesn't mean it has to interrupt your career. And if you are all of a sudden in the middle of a PCS move and you have moved from one base to another, you have no interruption other than the amount of time that it took you to move. That's wonderful. Exactly, and getting your internet going again, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of a lull, but not like having to quit this job, move to the other base, have to look for work. This is wonderful. Right, and let's go beyond that. We have so many Americans, military and otherwise, that are unemployed today. So what I'm hoping is that companies will take the challenge. CallSource is not a large company. They probably have, they're probably about a $60 million company. They're not, Fortune 500 or anything like that, but they have a lot of integrity and they're veteran friendly. And what we want to do is to bring jobs back. I'm one of my pet peeves is if I call up a consumer company and customer service is someone in India or in Mexico or some other country other than the U.S. when we have so many unemployed people. And I think that especially disabled veterans and spouses are highly viable to do call center work, technical support, even sales support. So with the Vow to Our Heroes Act and with training funds, corporations might look at it and say, hey, it makes sense to bring these jobs here. And part of this initiative that we're doing, Hiring America's Heroes, is we're going to go a step beyond. We have always been an advertising venue for companies wanting to recruit from the military veteran community. We're a top
100 employment website. If you Google veteran civilian jobs, we're number one. And we do healthcare. We do every kind of occupation. But on this program, a company can have the option. They can either hire directly, or we will become the employer, and they'll contract with us.
Oh, wow.
And if it gets people working, it's time. We're going to step up and do it, and that's where we're at. And we're really excited about these call source jobs, and that there's 100 of them, and it's a start. And I actually have a meeting Friday with a wonderful nonprofit. I'm not going to mention who it is at this point, but maybe in a subsequent. But they provide housing for homeless veterans, and they get their lives going in a positive direction and help them find jobs, and these would be wonderful jobs for them as well. In fact, we're going to be talking about maybe even putting a call center in one of their facilities.
Wouldn't that be smart? Yes. What a great idea.
And by the way, I'm very fortunate because I also get to serve on California's Interagency Council for Veterans, and the California VA CalVet is one of the most progressive VAs in the country. They're always coming up with new and innovative ways to do things for veterans. And this Interagency Council is all kinds of organizations like my own. They're partnerships with private, with nonprofit, and with government agencies, as well as the non-government. And we're all working together for the same goal of helping veterans. And employment is one of the major focus areas. So is education, health, and housing.
Oh, wow. Debbie, we've only got a couple minutes before the end of the show. Is there more information about Hiring America's Heroes on your website?
It's going to be on the website, but if someone is looking for a job and would like to work remotely, please send me an email, info at militaryconnection.com, and there's no S, it's singular connection. And there's a week of training, which is paid for this. And this is a good company, and what CallSource hopes to do is these are contractor jobs. They hope to turn them into regular employees.
Yeah. What a wonderful opportunity. And so exciting that it's so much more flexible. We were talking about change earlier, and flexibility is part of accepting all of that kind of change. That's wonderful. A quick synopsis. Did I hear that you were at the White House recently? We've got about a minute.
I had the honor of being invited to the White House for a Christmas reception, and my son went with me. It was probably something he'll remember his whole life. I have to say that the President and First Lady were so gracious. They greeted everyone personally and took a picture with them. And the White House just looked beautiful during the holidays.
Oh, I bet it did. What a wonderful opportunity, Debbie. Thank you so much. We want to make sure that we have everybody visit you at militaryconnection.com. Anything you need to know, you're going to find it from Debbie Gregory.
Thanks,
you. Debbie. Next week, we've got Linda Franklin coming from Shining Service Worldwide, and I believe I see Mike Hoffman listed on our upcoming show, so we want to make sure you come and visit us. We want to say happy birthday, Girl Scouts of the USA. Thanks, Doris, and thank you, Sandra. We're looking forward to another 100 years. Take care, everyone. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye now.